Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more turkey pattern testing. And today I've got another pretty interesting setup that I wanted to run. And I'm hoping to see some pretty good results out of it. So as for the shells we're going to be testing, I've got some more of these out. But if you've seen the other videos, then you already know that these are a Salt Creek custom load. They're 2 ounces of number 6 lead shot. We tested those in my Kicks Goblin Thunder 655 choke, and they did pretty good, at least for a baseline. So I'm really curious to see what today's setup is going to do for them. But for today's setup, I've got the Remington 1187 Premier out again here. However, I decided to pull this choke out, which we have not seen in a while. This is the Avian-X Crusher 665 constriction choke. This choke has shown us some pretty decent looking results in the past, and it's quite a bit more open being 665 rather than the Kicks 655 we tried last time. So will the slightly more open constriction help these shells really perform? I think there's definitely a chance of it. And speaking of our target, it's still set up at the same usual distance of 40 yards. I do have the chronograph out here as well, so the shot will be run across the chronograph to see what kind of velocity we're getting. So far, these Salt Creek loads have been very consistent on their velocity, which is definitely a good thing. So let's head over here. I'll get you guys set up on the target and we'll take the shot. We'll take a quick look at our chronograph numbers, and then we'll go see how they perform down there at 40 yards. So let's go over here and shoot them and see what they can do. Okay, so that round gave us 1128 feet per second across our chronograph. That's right exactly where I would expect it to be and right where I would want it to be, right around 1100, give or take a little bit. Not too fast, not too slow, so nothing too special to see on this one. So let's go down to the target and see what we got down there. Alright, now we're down here at 40 yards at our target, and he is absolutely a dead bird. There's no question about that right there. Now we might have been just a touch high, if anything, but we're pretty centered up, about as perfect as you can get on the paper left to right anyway. And I gotta say, this is about as even of a pattern as you could really want. It's not a super screaming tight core or anything like that, but it's definitely not blown wide open either. That is really a pretty beautifully even pattern for sure. Now, if we come down here to the bottom, we do see a couple of these that you might call flyers, but it's a number 6 load, which has a lot of pellets. And from the testing I've done, 6s typically have a couple flyers, but I would not hesitate to use that load at all. I would definitely say that it did a little bit better with the little bit more open 665 here. There's really no big voids at all in it until you get all the way clear out here on the very edge of the pattern. But right here in the middle, there's absolutely nothing that a turkey's going to walk through within the size of a basketball easily right there. Plus, that pattern gives you nice leeway. It's absolutely capable at 40 yards, and I would say probably 45 and maybe 52 if you go out and test it just to make sure. But in at closer ranges, it's not going to be a super golf ball sized pile of shot flying down range at 15 yards either. I really like how that looks. It's not super tight, but it's definitely not blown wide open either. That is a beautifully even, definitely capable turkey killing pattern right there. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far out of these Salt Creek lead loads, I gotta say. Okay, and here's the wad out of that shell, and it looks pretty much as perfect as you could ever want your wad to look. There's nothing stuck down inside of there as far as shot goes or anything like that. It's not all ripped up whatsoever, and it definitely opened up pretty much perfectly even, or about as close to it as you could ask for. Really not too much special to see here. It absolutely did its job for us in this test for sure. Alright, well, what did y'all think about that? I had some high hopes for it, and I think it performed pretty well for us, for sure. I definitely think, from what we've tested so far, these did do better in that 665 over the 655. It wasn't a super screamer of a tight core or anything like that, but it was a beautifully even pattern that still gives you leeway while also allowing you to shoot birds out at that little bit farther of a distance, like 40 yards or 45 or maybe 50 if you test it in your gun and choke combination first. But I definitely like what I'm seeing so far out of these. But what do you guys think about it? Do you like the slightly more open, even pattern like that? Or are you more of a fan of the super tight core patterns? But I got to give a huge thank you to the guys over at Salt Creek and Keith for reaching out and wanting to send me some of these shells. I'm not paid to say anything. I'm not sponsored or anything like that. They're just a great company and some great guys to work with, and clearly they make a good shell. So thank you so much to those guys. Go check them out if you're interested. And I've had some questions about them loading up some special stuff for you. I know that they do load quite a bit of special stuff, so if you have something a little bit more special that you might want to try and get loaded, ask them about it, because they can probably do it for you. But on that note, it is a hot one out here, and I've got some more testing that I would like to get done. So stay tuned, because we've got plenty more coming. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one.